Motivation. How we can keep our motivation for painting on this hobby? And first of all, I say hobby, and we have to keep in mind that a hobby is the thing that you do because you like it. So nobody's forcing you to do a hobby, and you don't need to do this for your daily life. For example, working, having a job, taking care of the children, studying. There are a lot of things that we do because it's our obligation. Hobby is just to have some fun time. So put this in the scope and along all this conversation. Say that in that hobby there are things that we like more than others. Even in painting, there are things that we like more than others. So, for example, doing the priming is not a thing that we enjoy. I will enjoy more doing the detail of a miniature than doing the main painting or doing the base coat. So, what I mean, although this is a hobby, there are parts of the hobby that we will enjoy more than others, and even there will be parts that we have to do if we want to do the funny parts. We cannot paint a miniature if we don't do a wood crime first, for example. So the first thing I would recommend is ask yourself, why do you paint miniatures? And be sincere to yourself. So you can paint miniatures for several reasons in that hobby. People that is painting only to be able to play with a painted army. There is people that is painting because he wants to collect miniatures. And there is people that is painting because they want to go to painting competitions. So knowing why you paint and knowing the right reason why are you painting these miniatures will help you to advance the motivation in case you have extra motivation. So one thing I will recommend you to do is plan short-term objectives, especially if you're painting for gaming. So most of the times we want to paint our army, for example, 1500 points of Dark Elder. And these are a lot of miniatures that you have to paint. So when you look at this project as a whole, it looks like a lot of work and endless project. So in that case, I will recommend you to divide this project in small sub-projects or in small objectives. For example, you can make that your objective is to paint these witches, 10 witches in 1 week, or you want to paint a rider in the next week, or so in the way that you see that you are getting your objectives, so you are achieving your objective, and then you see that you are ready for the next one, and then step by step you will realize that you are able to paint the whole army. But not only the timing is important to plan, you also have to take in mind what is the quality of paint you want to do on your army. And this is in such a point link with the previous question. So it's not the same to paint for a tabletop army than painting for a competition. Because if you are focused on playing and you want to play with your army and you want to paint all your miniatures like to go like a golden lemon level, for example, it will take you a lot of time, and after painting a couple of miniatures you will be demotivated because you don't see your army painted on the table. So it's very important, this is why I say it's very important to know yourself, why are you painting, and then you have to arrive a compromise between time and the quality of painting you want to get on your miniatures. Of course, all we want to have a golden lemon army on the table, but we have to be realistic. This is not feasible most of the time. So my recommendation always is pay a lot of attention on the main characters and yeah, pay attention on your troops, but maybe they don't need to be at the same level as the main characters in your army. On the other side, if your objective is to paint as best as possible and you want to paint, for example, for competition, you have to know that you are going to invest a lot of time in each miniature. So don't try to compete with another person on number of miniatures with another person that is painting for tabletop gaming. So this is important. So if you focus on quality, on painting detail, and you want to go to competition paintings, you have to know that you will not be able to paint the same amount of miniatures that a person that is only focused on tabletop gaming. So summarizing this point, put short-term objective, and then when you achieve this short-term objective, this will fuel for the next objective and will give you motivation to keep painting. You will see that in long time you will have a lot of things done. And this will go to my next point. Look at what you did and not on what is pending. What I mean here, sometimes we are so focused on what we want to get in long term, in all the pending work, all the miniatures we have pending to paint, that this is discouraging us from painting anything. So we see that we have so much work to do that at the end this is creating the other effect we want, and this is motivating us from painting. On the other side, if you look back and you see how your collection is increasing, your collection of painting miniatures or your portion of painted army, you will see that this is helping you to do the next project. So sometimes what I mean is we are so focused on what is pending that we forget all the things we did before. Then learn from other people, but don't allow that the work from other people is demotivating you. What I mean here, sometimes when you are looking at or you're searching in internet, you see miniatures that are completely amazing. So you see the paint job and you're thinking, oh my god, how this person is able to do this painting job is incredible. I don't think I will never get to that level. And maybe it's the case. But what I mean here is instead of looking in that way, that can demotivate you from painting. You also have to think, okay, what are the techniques this person is using that I can improve my painting? And then this will fuel you because you will try to learn new techniques and new ways of painting, and you will see that you're at the same time your painting is improving versus what you paint before. And when you feel overwhelmed by work from others, take into account some points. You don't know this person how long have been in the hobby sometimes. You don't know what is the time this person is dedicating to that miniature or this work. So take this into account. So don't get overwhelmed because maybe this person has different objectives in the hobby than you. Maybe he dedicate months to paint this miniature and you don't want to dedicate this time in one miniature. So it's important that you take also this into account, and if you are sure why you are painting the miniatures, you will be less overwhelmed by work of others. So if you get bored, if it's too repetitive, change. This is helping a lot of times. What I mean here, sometimes we are doing an army, okay? For example, this time I will change to Skaven. Imagine that you are doing 80 slave of Skavens. And it's very repetitive, so you have to do the same Skaven each time, and you see that you have 80 to do. First of all, I would recommend you to split this 80 in groups of 10, for example. So this will go to one of my first uh, points here. So you will divide this big project in smaller portions, so you will see that maybe every week you do 10 Skavens. So instead of being 8 weeks without any result, you will have a result every week, for example. The other thing I will do, if you get bored of doing these slaves, stop for a while and paint another thing. Maybe you have another army and you want to paint from another army. Paint another army. Paint a piece of terrain. Or paint a character of the army. So sometimes what I do is, okay, I paint troops and then I paint a character in the middle and then I follow with the troops. It's also happening when you have to paint vehicles. Vehicles for me is not one of the things that I like the most. So if I have to paint 3 rhinos in a row, I will get bored easily. So what I will recommend in that case is maybe I paint one rhino from zero completely, and then I will paint another miniature in between between this rhino and this next one. Also, if you're painting a rhino and what you sometimes there are parts that you like more than others. For example, when I'm painting a vehicle, I like to do some freehand. I like to do the details, but I get bored easily when I have to do the base. So what I try to do in that case is sometimes is I do the rhino by facings. What I mean here is, for example, I do the left side of the rhino, and then I do the left side to the whole detail. And then when this side is finished, I do the right side, and then I do by faces. In that way, I don't get bored doing all the base painting and then all the washing and then all the highlighting. I'm combining techniques, and I can do some freehands, and then I will go to the other side and will do the wash, and then while this wash is drying, for example, I will paint another miniature in between. So I think it's important to add variety, to add change to the painting job. If not, you can get bored easily. Say that, it's also good that you limit the number of projects that you start at the same time. For example, normally I only have 2 projects starting at the same time. If I'm painting this example of the 3 rhinos, maybe at the same time I will paint Space Marine troops. Okay, so I have 2 objectives at the same time. So I can dedicate some time on the rhino, and if I get bored on the rhino, I dedicate some time to the troops. And in that way, it keeps my motivation, because I can do some of the things in that I like, and then I combine some of the things that I like less with the things that I like the most. Share. Share what you do, and you can share in very different ways. So you can share at your club, you can share with your friends, you can share by internet, in a blog, in a YouTube, in Facebook. But I would recommend you share with the community what you do, because this is not a hobby to be isolated at your home. So it's a hobby of sharing, and then by sharing, knowing from others, and then the people can give you feedback on what you do and can give you recommendations on how keep going in your hobby. So I will recommend always share. For example, for me, sharing in my YouTube channel or sharing in my blog is part of my motivation, and I appreciate a lot when people is giving me some feedback. So share for me is sometimes can be quite a good motivator if you need to find some extra motivation. And the last point that I want to cover in that video are the commissions as part of the motivation. For some people, commissions can motivate because you earn some money by painting, but from other people that is doing this for hobby and just for pleasure can be quite a big demotivator. So you have to be careful if you are planning to do commissions or you're doing commissions. First of all, if you don't have experience, take a project that is small. So you will see how you are reacting to this project. Is it helping you to be motivated or not? If you think that commissions, and in my case, commissions are not motivating, it's more motivating to me to paint for my armies. So when I accept some commissions, I try to accept small commissions and then to combine them with the painting for my collection. So you have to be careful when you accept commissions, because they can burn you out, and then you stop painting because you are accepting the commissions and you forgot why you were doing this, why you were painting. You were painting to enjoy, to do your collection, to participate in competitions, or to have your army to a good tabletop standard. So sometimes commissions can deviate you from your reasons of painting and can end up in a demotivation on the hobby. So to wrap up on that video, first of all, think why you are painting. Second point, divide your big projects in small portions that are easier to achieve. Then related to that, Look on what you are doing and not what is pending on to be done. Learn from others and don't let others demotivate you. Share what you are able to do. Add change if you get bored and be careful with the commissions. So that's all what I wanted to share in the video, and what I would appreciate a lot if you can put in the comments what is motivating you, what are the tricks or tips you use for motivation. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope this video is making sense to you, and see you again later. Bye.